Hello, third gen Tuono lovers. This is Don here. So I just want to share some information about replacing the rear shock on this 18 Tuono factory. The reason I wanted to replace it is because I have the compression on the front. I have the compression and the rebound back totally off. It's still a little rough in the front because most of my riding's under 100 and most of it really is under 80. But the rear, I had the compression totally backed all the way off, and the rebound I have it about 6 clicks in from soft. And I mean, this bike, you just feel every bump in the road. So I just wanted to soften it up a bit because I do, sometimes I do 300-400 mile days. I love the bike, it's great. So anyway, I checked out having the Olin shock worked on, and I was kind of thinking about doing that. And then I thought, well, if I need to drop it off, it's going to take a while for them to do it and get it back, and I wouldn't have any way to move the bike around. I'd have to leave it hanging, and wouldn't be able to move it. So I thought, well, maybe if I just put a sack shock on it, that maybe I could soften that up, and it might do what I need. Be a softer ride. So I bought this sack shock here on eBay for like I think it was $145, and so I had this chain hoist I bought for raising up my front of my tractor to clean under it. I bought that at Tractor Supply, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or more. I think it was about 80 bucks, so that's awesome. So I just took a big piece of pipe, put it across the rafters, have the chain hoist here. I hooked in right under the back here. I took off the seat latch. That was, a couple bolts, real easy. Put the soft tie around there. You have to watch when you're pulling on these chains that could stretch the bike. So I had a big sheet here, and I had the sheet underneath, I laid it across under the chains there when I was raising and lowering. So I also have a front stand here that goes up under the front of the bike in the triple tree, and I use that to just keep the bike from like swinging around. If you put the front stand on, it kind of keeps it level. And so I did unbolt the fender because when I started raising the bike, I got the rear of the bike so high that this bar here was pushing down on the fender. So I unbolted the fender and laid that down there, and I had raised it up so far, and I thought that I was going to have to take off the tank and undo this subframe here, and you have to take the tank off to get that bolt there. And I was really considering then, do I even want to go ahead and do this job? And then I'd kind of had myself talked into going further. And but what I did, I was raising the bike up and raising it up, and I just kept lifting up on the shock and raising it and lifting it up and wiggling it, and finally it just popped right out of there. So you can do it without taking the subframe off. So now I'm going to just make sure the shock length on both of them, I want to match it to the original Olin's, and then hopefully this Sykes will, I can get a softer ride. And if I do that, then I'm going to do a no-no according to Olin's, but I'm going to put a 2.5 suspension fluid in the front, and that way I can adjust, because like I say, the front I have adjusted the compression and the rebound. I have totally backed off. The front, it's even now. I have the suspension even out, what it feels even to me when I ride it, and I mean, it's great. But for long rides, and sometime I actually travel on this bike, so it'd be nice just to be able to back everything off, have it nice and mushy, and then, you get ready to ride, just a screwdriver and tighten it up. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Well, I hope this information helps, and hope you enjoy your bikes, get out there and ride. Oh, I also had an '07 Tuono for 12 years, and when I bought that, it wasn't a factory, so it had the Showa front forks, and it had the Sykes rear shock, and I could adjust the rear fine, and actually that shock, it did great, because later on, in fact, the rear shock on that one is like a 10-minute job to change on that bike. But The rear shock I could adjust, make it soft. It actually, the compression and the rebound, it was only one screw, but it actually worked really well. But the front was always so harsh, and so I ended up changing. I put a 2.5 fluid in that. I actually was considering buying the Olin's front internals for that, which at that time were like $1,300, and I thought, well, let me try this 2.5 suspension fluid, this Redline, and it's great stuff. It's fully synthetic, and so I did that one Saturday morning. I took the forks off, changed the fluid, and took it out for a 50-mile ride with a screwdriver, and actually dialed it in, and that solved my problems. It was great. So I'm going to try it. If this Sachs softens up the rear some, then I'm going to go ahead and do the front. And I actually just changed the front fluid not long ago, and I put the Olin's fluid in it. But I'm going to go ahead and, as long as the rear softens up some, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I hope this information helps. Enjoy your bikes. Bye now.